back to the channel. And first things first, check out the sky I woke up to. How can it be a bad day with a sky like that? You just can't. Anyway, the theme of today's video is the slow life. So I'm gonna do a day in the life where I show what a regular day in my life looks like hour by hour. First things first, we've got upper and then we've got a full uni day. It's gonna be the most locked in day at uni, I can tell you that for free. And then after that, I'm gonna cap out the video with a talk on why I chose this kind of life and why I've genuinely never been more content. Also, I'm speaking quietly because I don't want to wake up my flatmates. I'm not trying to do ASMR or anything like that. But obviously, about to work out, so we've got to have some carbs. What have we got on the board today? We've got kiwi, skin on obviously, then we've got 3 rice cakes, banana, honey and cinnamon. Also, if you're wondering why it's kiwi with the skin on, it's just pure fibre maxing. And it also tastes better, in my opinion. Just seeing the England result though, into the quarters, come on. Really hope that means that the gym will be empty because it was on so late. However, I don't think it will be because it's just magically always busy at all times. It's almost impressive, like, I don't know how they do it. Anyway, it's gonna be a cracking session, can't wait. Just seen some lads going to the train station after barely staying out for the England game. Go on the lads, love to see it. Unfortunately can't be me, but we will be there for the quarters.
No relaxing.
That is over, I can't lie. Maybe the best session I've ever done. It's certainly of the year. I mean, in terms of strength wise, I'm pretty stagnant because of the cut. However, like just pure vibes alone, that was absolutely immense. Oh, breath. Whew. There's that trend on TikTok right now about like, for my next trick, I'm gonna lift the same weight I've done for the past 3 years. I mean, that literally just describes my gym career for probably the past 5. However, it doesn't mean I can't have fun. I mean, that was so good. Really feeling the effects of the cut, not just in the gym strength-wise, but also like running-wise. I know last video I talked about how I was increasing my kilometers week by week. Can't lie, can't do it. My legs can't hack it. I was trying to hit 30 plus every week, but then alongside going to the gym 6 times a week, doing my daily step count of about 10 to 15k steps. Literally, my legs felt just like concrete 24/7. It was affecting my energy and my mood. So I've cut it down, I've been sensible. I know I'm always about like push the body and the mind follows, but sometimes the body raises a pretty good point. So I'm gonna listen to it in this one instance. And I do feel a lot better today about it because the past few days I've just really prioritised recovery. Although the cut itself is absolutely going to plan. I'm down over 4 kg now. It's mad to think I was 4 kg heavier than this, but I started out at about 74, I'm now sub 70, weighed in at 69.8 kg today. So the cut is actually going well, but in terms of how it interferes with your life, I definitely feeling the effects of it, but I've only got like under 2 months left, which is actually really, really far away. Because the idea is that I'm going to get to 67 kg, which is about, I think for me, about 13% body fat. I then reverse maintenance my calories back up, which I can't wait for. Oh my, I don't even know what I'm going to do with 3,000 calories in a day. That is just mind-boggling to me, but can't wait for that. Either way, you're going to get back to the apartment and get cracking with the rest of the day. But what a way to start. All right, I've got the usual protein oats bowl. I won't bore you with the details again, but I'll put the macros on screen. I've just watched the England highlights. Oh God, it is so coming home. But I wanted to talk about this really interesting podcast that I heard. It was a conversation between David Senra and Rick Rubin, the legendary producer. Now, Rick Rubin, basically his guiding principle is that less is more, but in order to do less, you've got to do more first. Now, what does that mean? Basically, you've got to do as much as possible, experiment as much as possible, throw so much stuff at the wall, and then eventually you'll find out what sticks. Because once you do so many things, you then reduce it down, and you know what's important because you know what works, what hasn't worked. And how I apply that to my own life is that I've consciously and often subconsciously experimented with loads of different lifestyles. You know, at certain points, I was somebody who went to bed late and I got up late. I'm now somebody who goes to sleep early and gets up early. I used to be somebody who, at the start of my, fitness journey, really over-restricted on my calories, was really stringent on my calories. But now I know what works and I know I don't like that. And I've got a way healthier balance when I'm dieting. So now I know what works for me. I know that I like routine. I know I like healthy habits. I know I like a structure, but then I also know that I like a balance. I know I like making time. No, not even just I need to make time to see my friends and do fun and exciting things, because that's also what I really enjoy. So I think it's really good to experiment. People should experiment, and I think they should do it more often, because you don't know what truly matters in life or what truly works for you unless you try as many things as possible. All right, we're on the way to uni, and today's plan of action is we're going to get all of the prep work for this week's workshops done today. Probably not, that's actually very ambitious. However, I just feel good about things today. I'm gonna go in with no plan, which is not like me. I'm just gonna see how much I get done, which is hopefully everything. You know, shoot for the stars, no, shoot for the moon. Shoot for the moon. If you miss, you're falling the stars. I don't even know, does that even make sense? I feel the stars are further away. Anyway, just feel really good today. And on that, my Garmin, right, I don't track stats, I only track steps. But my sleep score today was like 60 something, and it's because I got a terrible sleep. I got like 5 hours of sleep. I was tossing and turning, it was too hot, I hated it, awful. However, I feel great today, and I think that speaks to the fact that you shouldn't trust what like a watch says over how your body actually feels. And don't focus on what the stats say about how well you're feeling, because you know how well you're feeling. And I think you can often just feel worse if you just track these stats so religiously and give them so much weight in how you feel. So yeah, feeling good, can't wait to crack on. I'm gonna fuel my sweetener addiction right now. Wow, so aesthetic. There we are. Biggest straw ever. It's lunch, so I thought I'd check in. Currently got you bouncing on a Fanta can, but anyhow. So today we've got kimchi, new potatoes, chicken, courgette, mushrooms, sesame seeds, spinach. I think that's about it. Did I say new potatoes? I don't know. Anyway, pretty good scran, I'll take that. On my third caffeinated beverage of the day so far, which just definitely isn't good for me. I've also put sweeteners in there, and again, just tastes purely of chemicals, but I don't know, I'm pretty addicted to them at the moment. Work is going pretty well, I should say. Don't think I'll be getting all the workshops done, but I never was, to be honest. But definitely making some good progress, so I'll take that. I can't lie, meal preps are just the way to go. I used to be such a meal deal connoisseur, I guess, back in the day. I used to always buy meal deals. I mean, I'm kind of scared to think about the amount of money I've paid and probably wasted on meal deals in the past. But this, bigger portions, cheaper probably, and arguably better food. I don't know, I mean, I do like a Tesco meal deal, but that's pretty banging. This is a terrible angle. I'm not the Hunchback of Notre Dame at the moment, but I'm gonna get on with some work for about a few more hours, end up leaving at about 5, I reckon, and then, yeah, that's the plan. Also, I cropped my top today, actually. I should probably check if it looks all right. It's a pretty decent crop, I'd say. Thoughts? Don't know. Looks all right. I'm a free 9 to 5 at uni, complete. Didn't get all 4 done, but got 3 and I'd say a quarter done. So actually, very productive dial in there. We'll take that. Actually mad because I used to force myself to stay in uni back in the day, but now, absolutely easy, mate. Didn't feel like anything. Flown by. So I'm just gonna go to Aldi now, pick up a few of the essentials, and then yeah, we're off home finally. We're back in the AP. Literally just had to get some more Greek yogurt and frozen fruit because I go through a ridiculous amount of both of them. Like my Spotify Wrapped equivalent of both of those would just be in the millions of kilograms, I'll imagine. But yeah, plan of action for the rest of the evening is to make burgers and also meal prep for tomorrow, which is also coincidentally burgers, so pretty excited for that. I've also got to write a script for a brand deal. I've done the outline, but that's pretty exciting. Never had a brand deal before. And the brand is something that I use all the time anyway, and they're giving me quite a lot of creative freedom. So win's a win, very excited to do that. And then, yeah, apart from that, I'm just chill and do a few bits and bobs. There's always admin to do as well on top of that. It's been a really good day, so there's no reason why the evening can't be just as good. So the theme of today's video is the slow life. And I'm sure you've seen it on TikTok and now on YouTube that my days are quite similar. There's not a huge amount of variation, particularly in the weekends. I mean, I go to bed early, I get up, I then train, I then do work from about 9 to 5, I come home, do a bit of admin, do a bit of this and that, and then it's kind of rinse and repeat. And some may see that as a slow and boring life. However, to me, I've genuinely never been more consistently happier and more, I guess, just content with how things are in life than in this period. So I thought I wanted to talk about why it's been working for me so well. Now, by the slow life, I don't necessarily mean the amount of things that you do in a day, because I've done a fair amount, to be fair. It's more about the nature of your lifestyle, having a routine, having a structure, having, set habits, rather than doing a million novel things and your primary aim day to day is to do as many exciting and different things. People have commented in the past on my TikTok, kind of, I guess, judging my lifestyle, saying I should, I guess, get out more in effect, or just do more things that are, I guess, aligned with what a typical 23-year-old would be doing. And I think a lot of that does come from the fact that there are so many connotations associated with what your 20s should look like, and I guess mine doesn't necessarily align with that typical view. I really have to shout out though the podcast, what was it called? The Psychology of Your 20s, because they really articulated a feeling that I've felt for a long time now, but I've never really been able to put it into words. Your 20s to a lot of people are seen as a time of change, excitement, experimentation. You're doing a lot of things all the time, a lot of novel and new experiences, and even a bit chaotic, and this is played out by millions on social media. We're constantly exposed to people doing those things and that being their lifestyle. And, when you're constantly exposed to that, it does make you wonder, whether you're doing it right, whether you actually know what you want in life. And on a weekend, for instance, for me, I may not go out. I mean, that might not be too hot take or might not seem to be very revolutionary, but for a long time, in my early 20s or just my late teens, going out was the norm. If you weren't going out on a Friday and or Saturday, then what are you doing? But nowadays I'm quite content just sitting at home with my mates and watching a film. But even though I'm completely content there just with my mates watching a film, I feel maybe a tinge of FOMO, right? And that's weird, because I do feel perfectly content where I am, and yet I do feel as though I'm not doing enough. Maybe that I'm not using my time effectively. I'm not using my 20s as I should be. In the podcast, they make such an insightful distinction between fulfillment and short-term pleasure, because being constantly stimulated and being fulfilled are not the same thing. And constantly chasing these short-term hits of excitement and novelty is fun for a time, but then ultimately it's not fulfilling, because you're not gaining anything out of the process. And once you're out of that experience, you're constantly chasing another hit. You're quite restless and you can't really be satisfied just doing the slower things, like kind of what I'm doing at the moment. This may seem weird to some, but I genuinely do get a lot of enjoyment out of waking up early, going to bed early as well, and going to the gym, working on my law studies, working on my content, all that stuff. I get so much satisfaction out of that, because I feel like I've got a purpose, and when I do something, I feel like a feeling of accomplishment, which I don't get from chasing those short-term highs. In the past, I've certainly had that imbalance of chasing a lot of short-term experiences and all the excitement that comes with that, but ultimately I just didn't really feel as though it left me with any fulfillment. And over time, my values and priorities in life have changed, and now I do prefer this more intentional, yes, slower life, but it's definitely a more fulfilling one. I've never been more content and fulfilled at any point, to be honest. Today, for instance, today was quite a just typical run-of-the-mill day, nothing particularly exciting going on, but I've genuinely felt absolutely fantastic throughout it. I've been so content and just happy. I feel a great sense of satisfaction, a great sense of accomplishment and purpose, having done something with my day. And yeah, for those who are also on this kind of slow life thing, I think it's really important to remember that you chose this. I chose this life. I think we kind of forget the fact that we did choose this. This is actually what we want. And a lot of the time we feel a little bit of, I guess, uncomfortability with the lifestyle that we chose, because we see other people and we don't feel as though we're maybe doing it right. But we chose this. I've heavily leaned into this lifestyle since about September, and it's just worked wonders for me. I've kind of had to do it out of necessity, because I had really tough and consequential exams that I had to dedicate myself to. But in kind of embracing it, I've genuinely got so much value out of it. And yeah, I may see other people living their life how they live, that may be objectively a little bit more exciting, that may be filled with holidays and doing exciting things all the time and going out all the time, whatever. But ultimately, if I wanted to be doing that, I would be doing that, and I'm not. And instead I'm doing what I want to do, which is this lifestyle. There's no one right way of living life, especially yours. I mean, I don't think my life or anybody's life should be an exemplar on how to live, because each life should be unique to the person living it. And I still do things that other people do in their lives. I mean, I still enjoy going out with my mates. I still do enjoy doing fun and exciting things. It's not like I'm a complete hermit or just complete bore, you know, especially on the weekends. I usually fill my time seeing my mates or doing fun things, you know. If I'm not going out, which isn't all the time because it's not really one of my main priorities, although I do get a lot of enjoyment out of it, the excitement that I pursue has changed a lot as well. You know, rather than going out, I might just go for a long run and then go for a pastry and a coffee after, or a hike or something like that, you know, or just simply just hanging out and watching a film with my friends. So yeah, I'm very content with just focusing on the life that I want to live rather than the one that I think I should live or the one that other people tell me. And you know, coming to terms with the fact that this is the life you want to live and just kind of staying in your lane and enjoying it is something that's really hard to come to sometimes. So I hope other people are capable of enjoying their own lives and just kind of being content with what they've chosen, because it's so easy to get sucked into, I guess, what other people are doing. But as long as you just focus on what you enjoy, then I don't think you're doing anything wrong and you're actually doing it completely right. So then this is the key, you've got to mix the potatoes in with the burger sauce. That's the key to everything. All right, and this is today's meal sorted. We have got, this is a terrible angle, got beetroot burger in lettuce. There's some jalapenos on top of new potatoes, red onion and peppers. I mean, that's also meal prep for tomorrow, which I feel is slightly illegal. Like burgers for meal prep. I mean, probably worth us sending off, but hey ho, it's done now. Terrible filming here. I mean, there's nothing that I'd like more than to have like a filthy burger with actual buns and bacon and like a kilogram of cheese, but I can't. I've got lettuce instead. But on a cut, so needs must, and it's certainly pretty tasty, so I wouldn't complain too much. Final meal of the day, we've got obviously a yogurt bowl, pretty solid bowl to be fair. We've got 350 G's of the good stuff, that is Greek yogurt. We've got kiwi, we've got blueberries, we've got raspberries, we've got honey and cinnamon on top for tasting, but I can't lie, you should have seen yesterday's. It was just, it was stupendous, it was. I put a photo up here because my description won't do it justice. It was genuinely the best thing I've ever had and I can't wait to have it again. But yeah, plan for the rest of the evening is to watch the Spain-Portugal game with the flat and then journal for a bit and finish a little bit more of this brand deal script off, and then we're done. But I mean, what a day it's been so good, and I'm glad I've recorded it because I get to relive it all over again in the edit. Lovely. Such a good mouthful that, wow. Also got this like herbal detox tea. Then I've got like ginger, lemon, and some random miscellaneous things in there, but it's quite nice. Also sends me to sleep as well. It's very good. Wake up Aldi. Just what a day. I mean, I get to finish the day with Spain, Portugal in the World Cup quarterfinals. I mean, it's got to be an easy 10 out of 10 today. Because life is good when it's a World Cup summer, do you know what I mean? But it is coming home. All right, the day is now drawing to a close. Got to about half time of that Spain-Portugal game, but couldn't bear another half. I mean, I was gonna go to bed anyway, but that first half was such a snooze fest, so it sent me to sleep anyway. Got a bit of journaling in as well. I'm gonna read for about 10-15 minutes before I go to bed just to properly wind down. Nearly finished Hamlet, so kind of want to get that boxed off this week, but it's been such a good day. I'm glad I've taken you along with me. It's been pretty emblematic of what like my day-to-day is on the usual. Like, I hope you can kind of see the value and contentment, I guess, I get from this slower life. But it's been really rewarding, really nice day, and yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.